Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed. Today is chapter 3, Things You Hide. I was named after a criminal. My mom said that that's a dramatic way of looking at things, but sometimes the truth is dramatic. The name Miranda stands for people's rights. She said last fall when I was upset because Robbie B told me during gym that I was named after a kidnapper. I had left my keys at school and waited 2.5 hours at Bell's Market on Amsterdam Avenue for Mom to get home from work. I didn't mind the waiting so much. I helped Belle around the store for a while, and I had read my book, of course. Still reading that same book, Belle asked, once I had settled into my folding chair next to the cash register to read. It's looking pretty beat up. I'm not still reading it, I told her. I'm reading it again. And I had probably read it 100 times, which is why it looks so beat up. Okay, Belle said, so let's hear something about this book. What's the first line? I never judge a book by the cover, she said. I judge it by its first line. I knew the first line of my book without even looking. It was a dark and stormy night. I said. She nodded. Classic. I like it. What's the story about? I thought for a second. It's about a girl named Meg. Her dad is missing, and she goes on this trip to another planet to save him. And? Does she have a boyfriend? Sort of, I said, but that's not really the point. How old is she? 12. The truth is that my book doesn't say how old Meg is, but I am 12, so she feels 12 to me. When I first got the book, I was 11, and she felt 11. Oh, 12, Belle said. Plenty of time for boyfriends then. Thank you. Plenty of time for boyfriends then. Why don't you start from the beginning? The story. Tell me the story. From the beginning. So I started telling her the story of my book, not reading it to her, just telling her about it, starting with the first scene where Meg wakes up at night afraid of a thunderstorm. While she listened, Belle made me a turkey sandwich and gave me about 10 chewable vitamin C's because she thought I sounded nasally. When she went to the bathroom, I sneaked a bunch of grapes, which I love but can't ever have because Mom doesn't like the way grape pickers are treated in California, and she refuses to buy them. When she finally got there, Mom hugged Belle and told her, I owe you. Like I was some repulsive burden instead of the person who had been very helpful and unpacked 3 boxes of green bananas and scoured the refrigerated section for expired dairy items. Then Mom bought a box of strawberries, even though I know she thinks Belle's strawberries are overpriced and not even very good. She calls them SSOs, which stand for strawberry-shaped objects. Where did Robbie B get the dumb idea that anyone would name her own daughter after a murderer? Mom asked. Our building was still half a block away, but her key was already in her hand. Mom doesn't like to fumble around in front of the building looking like a target for muggers. Not a murderer, I said. A kidnapper. Robbie B's dad is a prosecutor. He says that the Miranda warnings were named for a guy named Mr. Miranda who committed some horrible crime. Is that true? Technically, maybe. The Miranda warnings are essential, you know. People need to know that they have a right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. What kind of justice system would we have without maybe meaning a yes? And then there's Shakespeare. He invented the name Miranda, for the Tempest. It made perfect sense now that I thought about it. Mom wanted to be a criminal defense lawyer. She started law school and almost finished her first year, but then I was born and she had to quit. Now she's a paralegal, except she works at a really, really small office where she has to be the receptionist and the secretary too. Richard is one of the lawyers. They do a lot of free work for poor people, sometimes even for criminals, but I never dreamed she would name me after one. Mom unlocked the lobby door, which is iron and glass and must weigh 300 pounds, and she pushed hard to swing it open, her heels slipping on the tile floor. When we were inside, she leaned against the other side of the door until she heard the click that means that the lock has caught. When the door swings shut by itself, it usually doesn't lock, which drives Mom nuts and is one of the things the landlord won't fix. So, was he a kidnapper or not? I punched the button for the elevator. Okay, you win, Mom said. I named you after a monster, Mira. I'm so sorry. If you don't like your name, you're welcome to change it. That was so Mom. She didn't understand that a person gets attached to a person's name, that something like this might come as a shock. Upstairs, she threw her coat on the kitchen chair, filled the spaghetti pot with water, and put it onto a boil. She was wearing an orange turtleneck and a denim skirt with purple and black striped tights. Nice tights, I snorted, or tried not to snort. But anyway, I'm not exactly sure how the people in books are always doing it. She leaned against the sink and flipped through the mail. You already hassled me about the tights this morning, Mira. Oh. She was usually still in bed when I left for school, so I didn't get to appreciate her outfit until she got home from work. Nice nail polish, then? Her nails were electric blue. She must have done them at her desk that day. She rolled her eyes. Are you mad about waiting at Belle's? I was super busy. I couldn't just leave. No, I like it at Belle's. I wondered whether she'd done her nails before, after, or during her super busy afternoon. You could have gone to Sal's, you know. Sal and his mom Louisa live in the apartment below ours. Sal used to be my best friend. I said I like it at Belle's. I think we should hide a key in the fire hose for next time. So, after dinner, we hid our spare key inside of the nozzle of the dusty folded-up fire hose at the stairwell. The hose is all cracked looking and about 100 years old, and Mom always says that if there's an actual fire, there will be no use for that whatsoever, and we'll have to jump out the window into the neighbor's garden. It's a good thing we live on the second floor. You asked me to mention the key. If I ever do decide to write your letter, which I probably won't, this is the story I would tell you. Alright, y'all. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Chapter 4 is the speed round. Gunna, can you say bye? Say bye. Bye. He drooled all over my lap while we read that. See y'all tomorrow.